Hello everyone and welcome to Pentium 2 Adventures Part 2. As you can see in front of me, I actually picked up some more parts that we're going to go into detail. But in this video we're going to be pretty much just upgrading the computer and getting it up to full force and quite possibly the most powerful Windows 95 based computer and DOS compatible computer out there. Okay, so starting up on the upgraded parts. I don't have a decent keyboard and mouse, so I got this, went out and I got this compact mouse. I guess it more or less goes with the Presario more than this, but hey, it'll have to do. It was $2 and it's a ball mouse and it works. And here is a Dell Quiet Key, nice little old keyboard. It's actually for a quiet key, it's actually quite clicky. I got that for $3 right there, and it's actually a pretty nicely made keyboard. Nowadays Dell kind of makes crap. This is the keyboard that actually came with my first ever computer, and it's just generally pretty terrible. But moving on, the graphics card is in severe need of upgrading, so I'm not spending any real money on this computer. So far I've spent around $11 in order to get it to where it is, and that's including the keyboard and mouse. So I actually went out and I got this out of the Pentium 4. It's AGP based, it's a 5200. I believe it's 128 megabytes, so it should be a great card, and we're going to be pushing this system to its absolute limit. Also for file transfer, so I can save money on CDs, I got an Ethernet card that's going to be going into the PCI slot, and that'll get it on the network. Obviously I'm not going to be browsing the web, but hey, at least I'll be able to do some gigabit file transfers. And I noticed while I was scanning through the BIOS that this thing is severely low on the RAM. It has a total of 32 megs of RAM, so I'm going to be upgrading that to 256 megabytes of RAM. I almost said gigabytes, but anyway, it's got two 16 meg sticks from when it was built. That's pretty pathetic even for Windows 95 standards. All these parts combined are going to make this computer an absolute beast. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I got the thing on the carpet. Now unfortunately I am going to be having to work on this computer on carpet. There's 3 screws and the top should slide right off. Normally I'd love to be working on my workbench. The garage is a mess right now. Could not fit the tripod out there. And besides, we're working with some old hardware. So it should be fine. I'm just going to watch the static. In all honesty, most of my computers I've actually built. I've only recently started building on tables and workbenches. A lot of the computers I've built over the years, I've built almost 100% on carpet, and I've never once killed a motherboard, mainly because I ground myself to the case before touching the Mobo or something stupid like that. I need to adjust the light. So as you can see, it sort of slides right off. It's real metal on the case, so it's kind of easy for it to get bent out of shape. And then this gets placed right down there while we are working. Actually, I don't want that to be bending back there. So I'm facing it the wrong way. Here is the computer. So first things first, I am going to be upgrading the RAM. So let's take out the two 16 meg sticks. These sticks are really kind of pathetic when you get right down to it. And there's the two 16 meg sticks. These were made in 1998. Wouldn't be surprised if this was actually an upgrade kit. So next, I need to sort of bend back these other 2 RAM slots. I think they might be virgin slots, so it might be kind of hard putting them in there, but hey, I'll get it done. So first things first, sliding in the RAM. Now, as long as the board is supported, you don't really have to worry about cracking your board. Just be a bit careful and make sure that you get it lined up, and then start on one side and then click on the other. And then a little press down the middle doesn't hurt at all. And then repeat with the next stick. With this board, unlike the G5 and other Macs, it really doesn't matter if they're matched pairs as long as they're generally the same size. Some BIOSes can have issues, but I doubt that I'll have too many issues with this particular BIOS. These are all 64 meg sticks. Could have gone with all 128 megs, but there's no way that this Pentium 2 is going to be using any more than 256 megs of RAM anyway. Quick press, and we are ready to put in the graphics card. So I'm going to be removing the old AGP card. And it should come out pretty easily. This is an older style AGP slot that does not have the little plastic thing that you got to pull on, and that's in the Rivia 128. I remember this. Jeff was he was legitimately running one of these just a few weeks ago before he got his beast of a system that he's running right now. He's an AMD guy, but you know, live and let live. Alright, so we're putting in the BFG card. Next we gotta just simply screw on this. I apologize for those people in the hallway. I'm just trying to get this kind of done because we may have company going over. So it seems as though a lot of people have been enjoying this series that I've been doing so far. And here is the Ethernet card, or as some in the UK call it, Ethernet, but it's Ethernet, trust me people. I know this. But, alright. Pressing in the Ethernet card. There we are. Alright. So now, everything's installed. And now, I gotta clean off the keyboard. Make sure everything's tightened up, and then we can begin the driver mess that I'm sure I've just caused. So the good news is there were no drivers installed as of right now, so I'm gonna then, hopefully if I can just find the Ethernet drivers for this particular thing on the Windows 95 install disk, then everything should go fairly smoothly. If not, then I may have to get it by other means. I do have that one rewritable CD that I can probably do some file transfers onto there, and then we can begin the transfer of the proper drivers over the network. So let's get started on setting this thing up. Here she is, guys. So this is what the internals of the computer look like as of now. You can probably see the 4 RAM sticks. I'm glad that this is a 4 RAM stick model and not a 3 RAM stick model that kind of became standard after a while. I'm glad they no longer have 3 RAM slots. My main computer only has 2. So unless I can get two 16 gig sticks, I'm probably at max, but that doesn't really matter. 16 gigs is still quite a lot. And here's the sound card. I'm not exactly sure who manufactured that sound card, but I'm sure we can probably find some drivers for it somewhere. And I may actually just see if I can move this sound card away from the cooler of this, because this card can get pretty hot. It's a GeForce 5 series. So yeah, I just want to quickly move before I get it set up. It's not going to be on camera, but I'm probably going to end up moving this sound card quickly over to the next PCI slot over. Okay, so I just simply slid the sound card over, and that's then going to give plenty of clearance for the small cooler that's on this GeForce card. And it's always good to have a bit of room to breathe, especially on these smaller coolers, so that they can do their job. Keyboard is now cleaned off the price tag. This Goodwill that I've been going to lately to get my computer stuff has been actually pretty good about using non-Sharpie and non-permanent markers. So as you can see, it's a very faint 3 there. I don't even think the camera can pick it up. I can barely pick it up with my eyes. But other than that, it's a very clicky shift key. But anyway, this should be really good for some DOS gaming. So now I gotta clean off the mouse, and I've already placed the tower up here. I'm cleaning off this desk. It's gonna be its permanent spot. I'm cleaning out the closet, and then this Pentium 3 computer is actually going to be going in the closet next to the Pentium 4, the Pentium laptop, and more computers than I care to even tell about. So I guess I'm just going to finish doing what I'm doing, and then it'll be the next cut. Okay, so here she is all set up. Just let me quickly turn off that because you're getting some glare in the screen. I don't know if this thing's gonna blow up. I really do like the keyboard. I like the way I just sort of wiped off all the keycaps, and should be quite nice. Nice mouse. This is an Apple mouse pad. I understand that would go a lot better on a Performa, which I may pick up. I mean, if I see an old computer at a Goodwill, chances are if I got 20 bucks, I'll be buying it and showing it to you guys, because I really do like what my channel has turned into. My channel is kind of ever evolving and all of that jazz. I'm not going to get up on a soapbox. I know what you came here to see. Smoke test. It's giving us something. Is it going to give us picture? Yes, it's going to give us some picture. Let me focus in on the screen there. Yeah, that is definitely a picture. It's counting up the memory. 52, 64. It's got to count up to 256. Imagine if it had a gig in here. That would be something. Because it counts up via kilobytes. So I think it's going to count up to 256. So that's good. I am actually going to be looking forward to this because now that I've got this, if I happen to have friends come over, family over, you know, little brother, I could totally hook up this Pentium 3 and the Pentium 2, and I could have just like a Quake over LAN. I just think that would be pretty cool. 275, 84. It's keeping on going. I'm not sure. 327 megs. So it appears that one of those 64 megs, one of those sticks was actually 128. That's more RAM than we really would ever need in this world. I'm not complaining. That is quite good actually. Detecting IDE. It should be booting up into Windows 95. This is going to take a while. Check some error, default's loaded. That's because the CMOS battery is not actually functional. Let's hit the F1 key. Verifying. 233 megahertz, cached memory. Windows 95, people. Arguably the most revolutionary operating system in the world. If you had asked me 6 months ago, I would have said it was Linux. So it's found the Ethernet. Select from a... okay. Search the manufacturer. I don't actually have that. I thought it was going to be loaded. Do not install a driver. Select from a list of alternative drivers. Modem. I'm not exactly sure. Network adapters. There we are. That should work. Detected. Okay, you must provide computer work names that will require computer name. Just let me slide across the camera here. I think that this Quantex kind of looks like a Jerry, so we're gonna name this computer Jerry. That may be because I watched Jerry Springfield. What do you mean Jerry Springfield? I was up late last night. It's Jerry Seinfeld. Work group. We're just gonna all caps work group. Computer description. Pentium 2. There we are. Configuration. Close. So it's going to be Jerry. Please insert the disk. That could be a bit of an issue. I may have to cut the camera for. I need to find that disk. Is it actually in the disk drive? Let me just cut across the camera again. No, it's not in the disk drive. Let's just see here. Here we are. It was right on the pile of other CDs. Found it. It's just a blank disk. So we're just going to put that into the disk drive. And we are going to hit Okay. Copy files from, could not be found. Okay. The file, net, skip file. Okay. So it's apparently not finding any sort of drivers. Let me just select from, I'm not exactly sure what kind of thing this is. Oh man, I'm really not wanting to open the thing. Existing OD driver, please insert that. Could not be found. You know what, forget it, forget it. Do not install a driver. Forget Ethernet. I'm gonna get it set up later at some point, but right now I'm not really feeling up to the task of opening up this case, because this case is just it's terrible. It may be a very robust case for a server or something like that, but multimedia audio device. Select from a list of alternate drivers. Let's see here, display adapters. Let's see here, there should be sound, video, and game controllers. Ad-lib compatible. Insert. Could not be found, could not be found. I am having quite a bit of issues here, folks. Yeah, like I said, it's a total driver mess. Select from the list. I highly doubt. We're just going to install all these drivers later. Do not install. We'll get some CDs. I'm going to be burning CDs. I am going to discover which one it is. Do not show this welcome screen. Close. Here's back on the Windows 95 desktop, and if I go to my computer, click Properties, Pentium 320 megs of RAM. You can see that right there, 320 megs of RAM. Microsoft Windows 95. So now, just let me see if I can burn the drivers. I highly doubt that we're actually going to be able to find some legitimate drivers for a FX 5200 for Windows 95. Right then, so hit that. Open there. I know I'm not exactly a Fonz when it comes to hitting things and looking cool, but I guess a button push would have to do. So this is the Windows 95 CD. We're just going to kind of set that on top of the computer, and it should be able to read that disk. So if I go to my computer, it'll show up as the D drive, and it should show up as February 17th. That's assuming, here we are, February 17th, 2014. On here I've got some DOS games, Duke Nukem. In the Duke Nukem folder there's actually some different games on there. But right now we need to focus on 4.23 Win9X for NVIDIA. Apparently, yeah, this is fully compatible with Windows 95, so right on NVIDIA, supporting these old computers. Not exactly sure why it's not opening. Here we are. NVIDIA display drivers should be disabled. If you have to, then restart setup. Otherwise, click yes to continue. I accept the terms. NVIDIA. See next. Reading content. So I'm probably going to have to restart the computer. But once I get it restarted, I'm not going to have you guys go through the setup process with the whole starting up and counting up all the RAM via kilobytes. But after this, it should be able to drive, like this thing, the graphics card in this thing, it'll drive a 1080p monitor. It really could. 1080p has been around for a long time. Like even the G5 I had, it had a 1200p monitor. Locate any NVIDIA graphics chip. The installation will be terminated. That's a bit odd. And successfully installed before you can use the program. I don't get it. It says, oh yeah, it's been terminated, but then it says it's successfully installed. So I am going to go with the first, well, the better option, and just assume that it's going to restart. So I will see you guys. Whether or not it was successful or not, I guess I'll find out. Oh, please tell me I didn't speak too soon. Apparently not, but I did find it's supported. That other one was just one update too short. Drivers.com is a bit off. They're like Wikipedia. But anyway, I did get this drivers installed for this card on Windows 95. Trevor advised me to either install Windows NT 4.0 or Windows 98, but we're sticking with Windows 95 because, you know, it's the sticker. I really don't want to have to get a new sticker. I know that's a stupid reason, but I mean, I've never actually ran Windows 95 before. So it's booting up, and I'll let you guys know how it turned out. Alright, a bit of bad news, guys. There's absolutely no driver for the 5200 for Windows 95. So my options are either to put Windows XP on the thing, or go back to using this Riva card until I can get my hands on like a Voodoo 5 or something like that. So I'm going to be going back to the Riva card because the way that this thing runs Quake is just terrible. So it looks like that graphics card upgrade was a failure. But I will be looking out on eBay and such, and I will be picking up a Voodoo 5, and we will have a much better GPU, but more of a GPU from the era. So I am yet to find a home for that GeForce 5200. Probably if I get a Pentium 4 or even an upper class Pentium 3, I will be putting that card in there. So just let me quickly replace this, and then we'll just see if we can get drivers installed. Alright, card's reinstalled and powering it back on. Really is a shame. This card is actually quite warm as of right now. It's a really nice card. I've been trying to find a use for it. But I guess a Voodoo 5 will have to do. But this Riva, for now, it puts pixels on the screen. That's all I can really say. We'll see how well it performs in Quake. And it's counting the memory again, so let you know when we're at the desktop. Okay guys, extreme change of plans here. Windows 95 is being a driver mess even with the Riva. And generally it seems as though if I were to upgrade this thing to Windows 98, which it would totally run fine, I can not only can I upgrade the RAM further to around 512 megs, but it'll be able to accept this BFG card with drivers just fine. So I am burning a 98 disc, and we'll be putting 98 second edition on this thing, and we are going to be using the code off of the back of this Pentium 3 here. So these codes are actually pretty reusable. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'll see you guys in the installation process. Alright guys, so I got the thing set up to be a nice slow burn of the disc. Right now it's just erasing the multi disc there. Windows 95, I'm not all that upset about. I'm considering that now, well, the main thing I'm upset about is that now I've got to go through the whole process of opening up this stupid case, and I'm sure when the board fails on this Pentium 2, I'll probably end up putting another system in here, probably end up turning it into a server, but we're talking far into the future here, so just, alright, I didn't actually put the third screw on that time, because I was halfway expecting to have to do this. So, this case is just a heck of a time trying to get this thing off. Come on now. Come on off. See here, all the screws are out. There we are. God. Like, I wish that the case was easier to open, but I mean, it is what it is. So here we've got the computer insides again. I really like the way that that old Dell keyboard actually works. It has a nice feel to it, nice little soft click to it. So now let's just I don't want it to fall off the table here, but just gotta, where's the screwdriver? Take out this Riva 128 that may or may not be defective, I'm not sure, but it kind of gave me some errors, and so I figured we may as well just start fresh on an operating system that this thing is fully capable of running. I would put NT, but I don't actually have an NT license as of right now, and I'm not 100% sure if all the games I want will, or even finding drivers for this particular card on NT would be a wise decision. So we're just screwing in this GPU. It's a really nice GPU. And if this doesn't work, I swear to God, I will be putting XP on this thing. If this does not work. Because at that point, this machine may as well just be a joke. It's loud and it's hard to put on. Alright, so let's see here, get the thing lined up. I've almost gotten good at putting this stupidly designed case back on. You almost gotta give the system a hug and then pull it forward. Maybe I spoke too soon. I'm not all that good at putting this case on. What were they thinking when they designed this case design? I found it to be nothing but a trouble. And I mean, they knew that the ATX form factor was there, but they just had to be their own special way about the ATX form factor. Kind of got to lift it up. That is good enough for me for right now. That's just fine. That's not great. That is just fine. It's sort of on there, I'd say. Okay, everything's back assembled, so now we're just going to wait for the disk to pop out of the drive, and then we can go through the 98 setup again. Alright guys, so I just got back from the gym. I figured since we're upgrading to Windows 98, I may as well just swap out the hard drive, because I got partway into the installation process and this 3 gig drive will not, it just plain old will not fit. I need to remove this one screw. Let's unplug everything from this. This is a Molex connector. There we are. IDE, it needs to be disconnected. And floppy power. Because this entire tray has to come out. So now that gets slid out, and here is the drive tray. So now I can just take the drive tray, set her down right here, and right, this is the hard drive that came out of my Pentium 4 Dell. That I think the Mobo even failed on that. Hopefully this will work. You know, I think the funnest part about computers is when they're not working properly. So, because if a computer just plain old works, it's just kind of boring and there's nothing to tweak with, as my mother would call it. Alright, so now we're upgrading that to a 120 gig hard drive, and I do believe that we can just partition that drive into 2 partitions when the installer is ready. And I also decided we're going to be keeping the upper panel just off for now while I am going through the whole installation process. Just in case I have to read off of the Ethernet card to get drivers installed. You probably already know how long this video is. I'm not sure. It could be around an hour. I don't know. At least 30 minutes is what I'm thinking. Because there are some long clips in this video. I'm not a huge fan of speeding it up. Right. Next screw on the other side. Hopefully this hard drive works. It may have failed when the power supply blew on that. That would be quite the bummer, as my next biggest drive is a 15 gig. And it's formatted for Mac, so I may actually have to boot up the Linux Pentium 3. I haven't showed you guys that, but it's a Pentium 3 IBM ThinkPad that's running Linux that I can hook up any Mac formatted drive, and since it's based off of the Unix kernel, I can then format Mac drives. That's something that's quite useful. I am able to format some Mac drives because they're based on pretty much the same kernel and it can understand it. So, alright, here is the drive caddy, getting ready to get set back into the case. Now, I think I'm just going to keep the case for pretty much forever. it's very well built. It's just not the greatest design. Like, the design is a bit off, but the quality of the case is bar none. Like, everything is metal. Like, I hate cases that have a lot of plastic in them. Everything is metal. It's wrong screw. The only plastic part of this case is I need to slide that a bit, is the front bezel. That pretty much had to be plastic. The only way, that would have been a blooper. And that would have been the end of Pentium 2 Adventures. See you again while I go cry myself to sleep after all the effort I put into this. Alright, so now just plug in the drive cables. I'm fairly certain that this is the drive cable that needs to be plugged in there. So there's the IDE cable connected in there. Now just connect up the floppy drive and we should be rocking and rolling with a 120 gig hard drive. Windows 98, I'm not sure it can read that big of a hard drive, but I know it can at least partition it into a few hard drives. So I think that'll be quite good to have a massive hard drive. Alright, so this is going to be going on top of the case for now. Now I'm going to be hooking everything back up and we are going to be installing Windows. So I turned it on and I get this horrible burning smell and a bit of smoke came out of the computer and it's coming from that hard drive. So it looks like we're just going to have to take out the hard drive. I'm not going to have it on camera, but I got to take out the hard drive and then looks like we are going to be formatting a Mac drive in case I cannot find a PC formatted drive. Hard drive's now out. This is going to be thrown away straight into the garbage before being smashed. So sad to see this hard drive go. I've had it for a couple years since I actually got it in a Mac. I forget what it was, but I think it was originally in my Sawtooth. So yeah, throw away this hard drive. Okay guys, I'm in Windows 98 setup. This hard drive right here is the one that I bent the pins with. Tried to bend them back, ended up bending them worse. So thanks for the advice, Trevor. Alright, that's file transfer failed. But anyway, we're going to continue setup, configure, yes, enable large disk support. Oh, by the way, I found out that that GPU is actually a 256 meg GPU, so that's really good. Sample restart your computer now. Boot disk, drive A. Well, there is no drive A. Well, maybe that is drive A. It says floppy failed. But does the CD drive then become drive A? I don't know. One of these days, if I get the opportunity, I'm just going to go to the dump or recycling plant with a screwdriver and a hammer, just take out the sides, just like mash out the side of a case. Of course, if it's like a dual Pentium Pro, which I really want a dual Pentium Pro. So it's identified both of the drives. Let me just turn that off a bit so that you can see the screen a bit better and zoom forward. But no, I just need to get tons of hard drives, really. There we are. Floppy disk fail, F1 to continue. And it should start up into Windows 98. Boot from CD-ROM. Set up from CD-ROM. I didn't know this was a 91 times drive. Is it? Seems quite insane. So now it's going to be formatting drive C. I could keep talking, but I am just going to check up on my Rust. I'm on this small server in Rust. I just want to make sure that nobody's killed me so far. Okay, so setup is preparing to install Windows. Just got to hit enter. And it's running scan disk. I should probably turn on some lights, just at least a bit of light. There we are. So it's doing its thing and it's installing. And then I gotta begin getting drivers ready. I think I already have this, the driver for the NVIDIA, because it's just a general driver for Windows 98, and I think it'll work just fine. Continue setup. So it's preparing and everything, and I will update you when we're on the desktop. Okay guys, so it's loading into Windows 98. I got the drivers for the graphics card on a CD that I'm going to load up. Once I get that figured out, then I guess we'll be in business. And I can start installing some games, doing some benchmarking on this Pentium 2. And what just came up? Please insert the disk labeled Windows 98. I believe it should be inserted, shouldn't it? Here's Windows 98. I guess it just wants to install a plug-and-play driver. So we'll insert that and click OK. Cannot be found in. I need to try copy in again. Let's just select D. We'll say copy files from D. So that way it'll find it better. Pre-copy. So it's having some issues, so details, the files, set up finish source disk, skip. So it's having some issues with the whole thingamajig, but let's see if we can just skip all these. Hopefully, is it repeating secure 32? So. Alright, please insert. It's just because I can't. I'm pretty sure that that's D. Skip the file. Let's just skip everything. Alright, let's just cancel that out. Forget. I'm not sure if that's just some error. I think it's just the new hardware found. We'll be installing all these drivers later. Found new hardware, is locating software for it. So yeah, it's got to be doing its thing. I am pretty much done with Rust. I know I keep saying that, but PCI Ethernet controller. Search for the best driver. Not going to be found in the floppy disk. So it's searching again. Obviously, there's not going to be much. Search for the best driver, CD-ROM, Windows is not, okay, so obviously this is going to be some driver hell, but I believe it's like 7 o'clock. So it's just going to install the standard PCI graphics driver. Yes, I want to restart the computer. So, alright, I will update you guys when it's back on the desktop and I've got everything figured out. Okay, so it's loading up the desktop. Since this is the first time it's loading, so here we are. We're now at the desktop. Welcome to Windows 98. And of course it's got that cool graphics effect on it. Close. Now we need to input the disk that I believe is in the ASUS. There we are. MISC. I actually labeled it miscellaneous. I just always say it MISC. And ever since I saw, what is it, A Christmas Story, I cannot say fragile without saying fragile at least twice. At least twice. So now we've put that in there. Should read it. It's handling Windows 98 pretty well. It's not as fast as that, but that's kind of to be expected. So it should be able to read up that disk in the D drive. I'm probably going to be putting a second CD drive into this thing. I may actually just take it straight out of the Pentium 3 So it's under Z drivers, and it's 81.98 Foursquare. Accept, next, NVIDIA. So yeah, Windows 95, generally not very good operating system. I thought it'd be decent enough, but again, Windows 95 is about as big a headache. Now, I think somebody might be here. I don't know. I don't think anybody's here. I think that might have just been in the wind. But if I get murdered, that'd be pretty dope. It's possibly the coolest way to die. Right up there with laughing to death. I'm just super paranoid. So it's installing the display drivers. Yeah. So I gotta restart the computer, and next time you see this, it will probably be at 1280 by 1024, and then we can start the gaming. Alright, so I apparently need to troubleshoot, but it did recognize the card, and that is getting me excited. Alright, so it's going through its stupid troubleshooter. Next, first check device manager, make sure the device has been installed. You know what, I think I can actually do this. Actually, I can do this myself. It's a matter of disabling, like, the onboard. So, let's do this. So, apparently, yeah, it installed the other driver, so I just need to go onto my computer, properties, device manager, FX 5500, properties, driver, okay, but shouldn't there be some kind of, oh, this is an FX 5500, I could have sworn it, oh, that explains a lot. It's an FX 5500. Display adapters. Let's just... I need to go through the hardware troubleshooter. I'm on the device manager. I never thought I'd actually have to use the help. Device appears twice. Occurrences to view the resource settings. On the device manager, I'm just going to cut the camera and I'll let you know if it works because the battery's running dead. Okay, so I just had a what would happen moment. What would happen if I were to take the hard drive out of here and place it into this older Pentium? And let's just see. I just want to see what happens. I will update you once I get to the desktop, but basically this has the exact same Windows 98 installation as this one, so go figure. Invalid system disk. What a load of crap. I have never had this much trouble with a computer before. I'm not going to give up though. Now I am going to... You know what, dude? I may just burn a Windows 2000 CD and just see if that'll work. I'm going to regret doing this, aren't I? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have clearly gone insane. I am going to be upgrading the RAM to 512 megs. It's going to have a beast of a video card in it. And I'm going to attempt to run Windows XP and game on it from a Pentium 2. If anything, this is just turning into one of those videos that you see to where people like run Quake 3 on a Pentium 1. But you know, I'm gonna have some fun with this. I'm gonna burn XP, and you know, I should have some fun with this. I'd love to see how well this processor can really handle XP. The graphics card, I'm sure, can handle it. The hard drive's big enough. and I should be able to get drivers going for it, and if I can optimize it enough and get rid of all the garbage, who knows, maybe this will run just fine. Or maybe I'm getting myself into something that I really don't want to be in. So I'm installing Windows XP. It's going to be formatting, and I'll probably get it done by the end of the night. I'll probably have the graphics drivers all working. We'll actually see how well a Pentium 2 is capable of running an operating system as modern as Windows XP. I know it can be done, but the question is whether or not you'd like to game on it. But if I can get it running at 1280 by 1024 on this, then I'll just leave the hard drive in it, and I guess then I can just pretty much forget about this computer for now. And I think the next computer I actually want to get is probably going to be a Mac. I want to get something that's older than G3. This is going to take forever. I got soda, diet, caffeine free. If it's diet and it's caffeine free, then what the heck is in it? I'm pretty sure it's arsenic. Okay, so it's day 3. I'm going to try Windows 2000 and Windows NT 4.0 with the newer graphics card in the system. And this is going to be pretty much my last ditch effort. And if this doesn't work, then I'm pretty much just going to cut together the footage and release it as the first failure in the Pentium Adventures series. But I doubt we're going to fail. I will get this thing to run Windows 2000 with full resolution. Yeah, that's my goal for the day. But I'm going to be doing bare minimum filming. Only going to be filming the absolute most needed updates. So yeah, let's get started. Here we are with Windows 2000, guys. I'd imagine that it should run pretty decently on this Pentium 2. It's booting up as of right now. So yeah, it's almost lunchtime. I think I'm gonna actually get some Chinese food. But here's the thing, what went wrong? I was talking to some people. What went wrong with Windows 98? You let it look for its own drivers. So it loaded up the completely wrong driver for this motherboard, and it kind of screwed it up. So this time we are not going to let we're not going to let Windows 2000 attempt to search for any drivers or anything. We are going to manually load our own from the beginning, and then it should work. So 2000 set up blue screened last time I tried it, so we'll try it again. Hopefully it works. So apparently Windows 2000 has an issue with the memory, so we're probably going to either go on to NT 4.0 or go back to 95 and just see what we can do. So there's this fake account that's attempting to either troll me or just generally get me to give them their credit card number. And I'm going to troll the crap out of this person. So yeah, basically what these guys do is they're Indian people who live in India or some other country like Malaysia or whatever. And what they do is they try to profit off of stupid, horny teenage boys under really retarded names, but they put a okay looking girl on there. They look through profile pictures, just random profile pictures, right? And they attempt to pretty much get you to give them your information, and I'm just not having it. So see, they see your profile picture and then all that crap, and I said, yep, that just about sums it up. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to respond with, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty funny. Oh, they're writing something right now. I understand that this is quite a break from this, but yeah. Okay, so now this person is trying to show me their name, and it's 23 female from Pakistan. See, if there's anything that the Iraq War has taught me as an American, and that is to never trust anybody from Pakistan that seems to be nice to you. So I'm just going to message them back with, wow, such credit card, many want, so 5555, and then go over to the account and block, confirm, and there we are. Situation averted. Now we begin to take you back to your regular programming. So now we're going to be back on 98. Disk your hard disk is not functioning. Oh! It appears as though I need to reconnect the hard disk. But the whole point is we are installing 98, so I'll update when we're on the desktop. This time we will not make the mistake of letting it choose the graphics driver though. So hey guys, as you can see, it doesn't have the best sound in the world, as it's coming through this terrible PC speaker over MIDI. But Windows 95, and look at the GPU that's in there. Let me focus it in there. Yes, that is indeed the new GPU. I had a talk with Trevor, and what he said made a lot of sense. Really did help me. And yeah. Sounds terrible. But yeah, I did get Doom running, and that's pretty much the end of part 2. I will see you guys in part 3. That is, if there is a part 3. This has been the hardest, wouldn't call it a build, but I would say that this has been the hardest challenge so far in the series, was getting this thing to actually work. And it was so simple. It was right in front of me, but I guess I just sort of ignored it. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, kick it.